Good morning, boys and girls. Day 2 of the GTC restoration daily videos. I've been down here for about an hour already today, to be perfectly honest. Let me just reinsert the intermediate shaft in the gearbox. I've been down here for about an hour already this morning, to be honest, just tidying a few things out, getting the sleeker moved out, a few other things moved out, and getting set up, because I am going to get sandblaster out, the blasting pot out, and have a good go at the underside of the car today, which is going to be messy, so pray for Henry. Henry's the Hoover, by the way. Right, so last you saw, obviously we had the gearbox painted, and that's been allowed to dry actually over 2 days, because although I say this is day 2, this is really day 3 for me because it's Wednesday, but I was in bed sick all day yesterday. I did try and come down here in the morning, but I couldn't face it, so I went home to bed. But gearbox is painted, I've got it all reassembled. All the little linkages and back bits and pieces back on this side now. Yeah, it came out quite nicely, I think, for a little 20-minute rattle can job. Very much going to be under the car and no one's ever going to see it. Quite happy with it, to be honest. The dipstick I've just got over there, just painted that black, just waiting for that to dry. So yeah, without further ado, I've got these little puppies back here all sorted now. Got the little niggles worked out of them. There is a little leak. This has got a crack on the regulator, unfortunately, so there's a little leak there. But yeah, these puppies are chooched all the way up to 7.5, 8 bar. I think I worked out why that other one broke, because these aren't actually rated to anything more than 6 bar, and we're running them at 7.5, so that's probably why that one exploded. But yeah, we're going to go for it anyway. This hose here has a tendency to keep popping off, but yeah, she's turned all the way up. 2 air compressors running, nice big bulk tank full of air, hopefully nice dry air because it's gone through the cooler and the separator, and gonna fill this bad boy up, make a mess. I went to Machine Mart yesterday morning and brought a nice big tub of blasting media. So we have got a nice big tub of garnet abrasive. So basically I'm going to launch that all in there. So it's a 30 to 60 grit, so it is a very coarse grit, which is what we want. We want to remove material nice and fast. I've kind of set this little old blanket up as trying to catch a little bit of it going too far that way. Let's see what happens, shall we? I'm going to get some masks and gloves on. Masks and gloves, or already gloves on. I'm going to get some masks, a mask and some goggles on, and let's crack on. Right then, boys and girls, mask up, glasses up, hood up. She's full of sand. Where should we start? There, I suppose. Right, let's see how it goes. Apart from the fact it's all flying back and hitting me in the face. That's beautiful, that is. It's making quite a lot of mess though, I'll give you that. I might need to move back a little bit. Although my little dust sheet does seem to be working quite well. Right, I'm going to start cracking on. See you in a couple of hours. quite well, to be perfectly honest. Got quite a way through that bucket of doodah. Henry is just trooping on like there's no tomorrow. Fair play to Henry. And then under here, these little sheets and stuff are doing quite a good job of catching the mess, to be honest. Sandblaster's doing a really good job of getting this all nice and clean. So I'm really quite happy with how it's coming out. I mean, there's bits like, look, this here is just, that's not going to come off unless we start hitting it with a flat wheel, and I'm not sure I want to go that far. There's no rust behind it or rot behind it, so I think we're just going to primer over the top of that. But the majority of it is, as you can see, it's coming up really quite well. I mean, it's worked wonders getting into all these little bits like in here where you could just never get a grinder or a wheel or anything in there at all. So yeah, happy with that. Nearly got the whole of the back done. I will, I'm just letting the compressors catch up a little bit because they're, move around so you can see me. I'm just letting the compressors catch up a little bit. They are chooching, they are going flat out, and fair play to the pair of them. They seem to be doing really well, catching up. Water filter's doing its job, although this is starting to clog up a little bit now. I'm having to sort of shake it every now and then just to get the sound flowing again, but yeah, all in all, it's doing pretty good. I've still got to then obviously get on with doing the actual chassis rails, but I don't think that's going to take that long, to be perfectly honest, because the majority of the fiddly bits is back here on this rear subframe. So I'm going to carry on just sort of getting all this side here done. There's a few like on it in here I still need to do, and a few little bits and pieces in here and whatnot. So I will, I'm going to get all that done, and then I will probably go as far as that middle cross member on the front chassis rails, and then I think what I'm going to do is primer and coat the rear chassis up to that point, and leave it there, because then I can concentrate on getting the back end of the car back together, and then once that's back together, obviously a rolling chassis, we can roll it, turn it around, and then I can do the front half of the chassis as well, which, to be fair, the front half is not, there's no rust on the front half at all, to be perfectly honest. It probably doesn't really even need sandblasting. It probably just needs shooting over with the primer and the Raptor. So we should all be good. And then once it's turned around, I was going to leave all the front half together and not worry about taking that apart, but like anything, I'm now wondering whether, sorry, I shouldn't leave the camera there because you can't see me, but I am wondering now whether we do strip the front end completely, as in all of the steering, gear, wheels, etc., and go, you know, the full hog. I'm not sure, we'll see. But right, I'm going to stop waffling. Here's the back end one final time, and next time you see it, hopefully we'll be putting a bit of primer on there. Sounds good. Right, catch you in a minute. It might make a mess, right? But you cannot deny me that this is not satisfying. How satisfying is that? Of all the messes to clean up, this is one of the better ones. Right, I'm going to carry on cleaning up and I'll show you what we've got. I think, to be honest, I mean, it's lunchtime, so I'm going to get something to eat in a minute. Hang on. Shut up a minute, Henry. Putting in the work, fair play. Yeah, I'm going to carry on tidying up, then I'll show you what we've got. It's lunchtime, so I'm going to get some lunch. And then I'm going to start blasting the rear axle, I think, whilst I've got all the blasting kit out and whilst I'm making a mess. I might get that done now. And then when I pop back down here this evening, hopefully with Mr. Dean with me, we'll get all this masked up, because obviously we're not painting the body's staying as it is, just the chassis. So we'll get this all masked up and, you know, put out with cardboard and paper and tape and whatnot. And then we might be able to get some primer on here tomorrow, hopefully, fingers crossed. Like I say, we're only going to do up to here to now. And that's going to get this, you know, we can get all the back end back together, a fuel tank in, etc., get that all ready to roll, and then the front is left to do. But as you can see, the front is really not that bad at all. There's no rust or anything on there. The original coating's on there, so hopefully that will, you know, that should cover up quite nicely without having to blast the living daylights out of it and all that sort of thing. So right, let's crack on. Right then, lunch break over. Let's work on getting this axle stripped down. I think the plan is we'll get everything stripped off of it, and then I suppose probably hit it with the wire wheel first to get the worst of the crap off of it, and then hit it with a sandblaster. And in theory, we can then be ready for a bit of primer. I'll probably use the same primer that I'm going to use on the underside of the car for the axle. Obviously I'm not going to paint this in Raptor, we'll probably do this in Gloss 2K. Probably do it in black, something like that. Oh, fucking great glove that was. Grab myself another glove. And then start stripping some of the engine Rightio then, cool. I am filthy, so is the camera. Ugh, yuck. Yeah, I am filthy, even though I had a mask and all that sort of stuff on. My trousers are filthy. I've had to take my jumper off, it was that filthy. The axle is less filthy. Is that the right word to use? I don't know. Obviously, as you can see, the floor's a fucking mess now. But there's the top side of the pig's head. As you can see, it's not looking too sad. That's the bottom side, which I haven't done yet. You can see how bad it was. The shaft housings are not too sad. So all in all, not bad. I need to go out and pick my kids up from school, so let's take a 5-minute interlude whilst I do that, and I shall see you guys in a minute once I've been, well, you'll see in a minute, it'll be a few hours for me, and we'll see if we can't have a go at this and get this done and dusted by the end of tonight. Anyway, right, I'll catch you in a second. Right, we are back down the garage. It's been a few hours since I've gone and done my business and bits and pieces, picked the kids up from school, dinner, bath, bedtime, all that nonsense. I can feel the sickness coming back. You might be able to hear it. I can feel it in my nose, I can feel it in my throat. I've got the shivers, something chronic. I really do need to get on and get this axle done so that we can actually make some progress this week. So, in the spirit of cracking at it, I've got some paracetamol and some ibuprofen and some Lucozade for dinner. I have also got myself a little tipple there, a little Peroni. For those of you who are new to the channel, it's you'll get used to that. There's always beer in the garage. Anyway, where did we get to? Right, yeah, we were stripping this. So, compressor's running up, ready for the sandblaster. I'm going to strip the top head of this. Let's start again. I'm going to strip the top of this pig's head, make it look the same as the bottom of the pig's head, and pretty much, hopefully, at that point, we should be good to go with getting the blaster out, and especially these box section ends here, where they're fiddly, giving those a good old blast, and then, well, hopefully tomorrow, if I've got that done, I've got that done. It will be getting some primer in the gun, at least getting some primer on. I've got a whole host of other bits and pieces like the Watts linkage and the trailing arms, all the 4-link stuff that needs to be cleaned up anyway. So I was kind of thinking in my head that we should. Right, sorry, battery died. Despite it saying it still had 62%, but that's GoPro for you, innit? Hey. Yeah, so part of me was thinking we'll get everything cleared up so I can paint everything all at once. But to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to have time to get everything painted up, and I really want to get the chassis in primer so that I can at least get some undercoat on there and start making some progress, because we're already a day behind and I've got so much to do before the end of the week. Anyway, if I stop waffling and actually get on with some stuff, then we'll probably be alright, won't we? Right, clean this up, blast this up, let's crack on. Right, saved you the pain of watching me grind that while I brush that all back and get it to where it is now. It's clear from these hammer marks here that at some point someone's tried to fit either this diff casing or diff cover or the whole thing with a hammer, I would suggest. But there we go. So it's actually not come up too bad, all things considered. If you look at the pile of shit, that's the pile of shit that's come off of it just from the rear axle. So you can see there's plenty of it. So right, it's getting late. Obviously the air compressors are going to run loud, so I guess we just crack on and get this blasted for as quick as we can for the neighbours' sake. So I'm going to pop you here. This trolley jack is a very fancy camera stand. Pop you there, something like that. That works for me. And crack on. Right, here we go. Right, well, I'm not sure, to be honest, whether the time-lapse worked or not. I think I might have forgotten to press play or record on the camera, to be honest, which is a shame, isn't it, really? But that has now had a whole, how much is in here? Let's have a look. 22 kilos. That has had a whole 22 kilos of grit thrown at it at 8 bar. And it's looking pretty good. I mean, I've still probably got some more to do tomorrow. I say tomorrow, because where I've swept this grit up, where I've done the underside of the car and swept it up, hoovered it up and put it back in the bucket and stuff, it's now getting to the point where it's got quite a lot of shit in it, and my gun keeps getting blocked up and it's really, really infuriating. So excuse me, I did used to have a sieve down here, like a proper sieve funnel with a sieve in the top of it. I don't know where it's gone, so I'm going to go and pick one of those up tomorrow on my way down here, so that I can clean the sand out a little bit, stop it from blocking up quite so much. I'm trying to get somewhere where the light's not so bad. That's not so bad there. See how dirty my face is. So yeah, just trying to gonna I forgot where I am now. Yeah, so I'm gonna go get a sieve, a funnel with a sieve in it, tomorrow morning from the shop, just so that I can actually clean the shit out the sand so it doesn't get blocked up quite so much. And then I've probably got about another hour, I reckon, of going at this. Also gives a chance for the compressors to calm down overnight, because I've run them really hard all day today, and I've just run them really hard for this last couple of hours. So they're doing alright, fair play to them, because they're only two little, like, 50 cubic feet compressors, to be fair. That, you know, like, I know they run that big bulk tank, but they work their tits off, to be fair to them. So yeah, it's not coming up too bad, to be honest. Like, this is the side that's done. You can see, like, compared to what it was, really not too sad. This was the side that I was just doing. You can see where I'll try and get out the light. You can see where I've still got some areas to do there, but it's not coming up too bad. I've got this side to do still. And then spin it around. I got most of these half shaft housings done. So I've still got a bit to do on this back side. I need to remove this by hand, some of these bits here, because that's still got like grit and rubber and oil on it, and the sand's just bouncing clean off that without actually removing it. So a little bit of scraping, but all in all, that's not coming up too bad at all, really, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, I'm going to take a breather, because I think the other thing I probably need to get as well is some new filters for my mask, because I'm getting to the point now where I'm out of breath after wearing this for about 10 minutes. I think it's because I'm struggling to pull air through where them filters are so clogged up. They've done alright, to be fair. They've probably been at about 2 years worth of work on them, those, and I spray 2K in that as well. Yes, I know I should use a respirator, but you know, such is life. So they're probably quite clogged up, but I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to do some more satisfying hoovering, hoover all this up and get it back in the bucket. I'm going to finish my beer, have some more of my Lucozade. The paracetamol is working. I do feel a little bit better now. And then I'm going to get under the cart and start masking off, ready for paint, because that's going to be one of those long, tedious jobs. So I'm going to get that masked off, and then I might, for the rest of the evening, start stripping some of the engine off, like the engine mounts and bits and pieces, because the mounts and that I'm going to put through the blaster. Obviously I'm not going to blast the block because I've got open headers and whatnot, and the last thing I want is sand going down boreholes and whatnot. So that'll probably just be a case of I don't know, really, scraping and brushing, and it's a bit of a shit state, to be fair, but I don't know, a bit of hard graft and I'm sure we'll be alright on that one. But yeah, I'm waffling again. I'm going to crack on. Catch you in a minute.
So when the car gets turned on, power comes on.
Straight on.
I'll do a GoPro in the car.
It's not a bad idea. Dean's down shot, by the way. We were just talking about alternative power supplies for these GoPros, because it's the third fucking battery that's died this evening with like 80%, and it just turns itself off. But there you go. Anyway, so yeah, obviously last you saw, I've cleaned up all the mountains of mess in here. And we're just lining up now things like, so this is obviously the 4-link bars, and then this is the Watts linkage that is obviously seized, as I was saying. So this bolt goes through there. Now I just took the nut off. We had to physically put it in the vise up there with a socket on one end and a bolt on the other, and press this bolt out of there. That's how seized it was. If you hold that, I was about to say, even with no bolt in there, I mean it's rotating, but it's not coming out of there, is it? I mean, I'm gonna have to get a where's my big fucking screwdriver gone? What a chisel, that might do. This is where it pins up and hits me in the face.
There you go.
Look at that, that's a bit crusty, isn't it? So yeah, I think pretty much that's why this linkage has never worked. I mean, it has got a poly bush in it. I don't know how well you can see it. We'll try and get that bit out in a minute. It has got a poly bush in it. I suspect when that poly bush was changed, they just tightened everything up so fucking much that it never moved, and then it got rusty. This car was originally sold, its first owner was in Scotland.
Could explain half the issue.
Be a brick. So I wonder whether it was said Scottish weather. But no, I don't know. I think it's spent many years in the north. I don't know. Might have to put this in the vise actually to get this out. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's give it a go. And also, I'm having to use an adjustable because all the bolts are so rusty that neither an imperial or metric socket fits or spanner fits properly. Before you all start moaning that I'm using adjustables and not the proper tools. That came out easy enough. Washer came off alright. However, I don't know if I'm just being silly here or not, right? come off alright. I mean, it's proper. That's proper rusty, isn't it?
I'll be getting a bit of treatment.
Fucking hell. It's solid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that. And this is why, or at least we think why, those shocks were bent. Oh, can you hear it? I can hear it. Oh, it's horrible. It's torture.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
When I first took the suspension on the Escort apart.
Oh, I'm glad you said that and not something rude.
That's basically how the TCA bushes were.
Oh, fucking hell. That poly bush doesn't look that old or that worn, does it? That's the problem. Like compared to the...
But you'll probably find that seized on the centre.
It's the centre pin.
Yeah.
It was obviously never greased or anything properly, was it, when it was... put together. Fucking hell. This is really hurting my hands. That made a difference, didn't it? Look at that. Yeah, I mean that was certainly never copper greased, was it?
Nothing on that.
Bush looks right though. I shouldn't need to buy any one of them.
A bit of a whiz of a...
To be fair, all of it doesn't look that bad. It's just really crusty.
Bit of sandpaper on that centre pin and clean out of that pin.
Yeah.
Bush.
Grease it all up when it goes back together.
I think we're alright.
I think we'll be laughing. Let's try and push that bush out now. Try and get the centre pin out first. Socket on a socket. We need to swap that socket for that socket.
Got it all.
That's it, yeah, I've got it all. Oh, fucking things you can do, 3 sockets and 2 pairs of hands. That's it.
Okay.
Just gonna keep my finger out for a bit in case it pings when it comes out.
Oh,
Fuck, there's no pressure on that anyway now, is there? There we go, that's it. It's out, lovely job. And that's reusable with a little clean up. I'm definitely going to cut that in half though to put it back in.
It's alright, you get your homemade press.
That's fucking hard. That's not a decent quality poly bush, is it?
No.
That's like fucking plastic.
Sure hardness on it, yeah.
Unless it was always meant to be that hard or it's just dried out, but that's... Like you can hear it when, like, if you flick it. It's like plastic, isn't it?
And some of them are, but some of them do have a bit more...
It is different. I mean, all of these ones here are all...
I mean, it's got some squidge to it.
I have got, I tell you what, I have got spare trailing arm bushes. I wonder if they're the same size.
Same one.
I wonder if they're the same size. I wonder if that's why they brought the spare trailing arm bushes.
To replace this
And they
one,
weren't
and never had to
spare.
get it all out.
And then got to taking it out and thought, fuck that. I don't know where they are. Right.
Oh, it's out though, that's the main thing.
Fucking... I don't know, that's one thing to find for tomorrow, but yeah, it's out.
Got some give, but...
That's not rotated a day in its life, is it? In there, like, that's not done what that should have done at all. And the centre board's slightly different, but then it would be a slightly different pin from a different manufacturer. These are Flowflex, these purple ones. Well, now that we know how press works, I'm not going to video it all because there's fucking 8 of these that need to be pressed out. But yeah, we're going to press all these out. And to be fair, that's going to do it for this video because we're doing them daily, so you don't need to drag it out. I'll see you guys in the morning after I've had a bacon sandwich, and a something between a sarnie and a sandwich. I don't know, it's fucking late. Right, I'll see you in the morning. Bye.